Good afternoon and welcome to today's edition of NWCR's Removing the Liberal Blindfold for this Tuesday, the 9th day of March in the year of our Lord 2021. After fraudulently winning the White House, the Democrats and Biden are no longer hiding their agenda. They don't feel the need. They got away with the fraud and now they are moving on, making things permanent so that they will never lose another election. On March 6, 20 states sent a letter to Senate leaders promising swift consequences if H.R. 1 passes. We will now just have to wait and see. From Western Journal comes this one. 20 states send letter to Senate leaders promising swift consequences if H.R. 1 passes. I must say this, folks. The Democrats want to make this last election the way of the future. It can't stand. Democratic leaders no longer even try to hide their real objectives. All of the bills introduced by the Democratic lawmakers of late have been undisguised power grabs. Even when asked directly about the quickly rising prices of gas here in America, the Democrats, Biden, Psaki, and all of them sidestep the question because that is part of their agenda. To make gas so expensive on us that we will allow them to push on us the electric cars that they have in the background now, which, by the way, will take down our electrical grid because it won't be able to handle all of them. Having been well pleased with the flexibility in voting methods and cheating the pandemic allowed them, the certainty, the results of the fraudulent 2020 election, party leaders decided to make these changes permanent. The result was the passage of the H.R. 1, the so-called For the People Act of 2021 by the House of Representatives on Wednesday. Noting the gross overreach of federal government in the bill, the attorneys general of 20 states penned a letter to congressional leadership, which is online if you want to see it, in the article on Western Journal. This group of top law enforcement officers wrote that, quote, "It is difficult to imagine a legislative proposal more threatening to the election integrity and voter confidence," unquote. They make the case that H.R. 1 strips the state legislatures of their constitutionally granted authority to determine how elections will be held in the states. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita, the leader of this group and the first signer of the letter, issued a statement to Fox News which read in part, quote, "This monstrosity of a bill betrays the Constitution, dangerously federalizes state elections, and undermines the integrity of the ballot box. As a former chief election officer and now as an Attorney General, I know this would be a disaster for election integrity and confidence in the processes that have been developed over time to instill confidence in the idea of one person, one vote," unquote. The letter addressed to the leaders in Congress began, quote, "As introduced, the act betrays several constitutional deficiencies and alarming mandates that, if passed, would federalize state elections and impose burdensome costs and regulations on state and local officials. Under both the Elections Clause of Article 1 of the Constitution and the Electors Clause of Article 2, states have principal and with presidential elections, exclusive responsibility to safeguard the manner of holding elections. The act would invert the constitutional structure, commandeer state resources, confuse and muddle election procedures, and erode faith in our election systems of governance," unquote. And now to remove the liberal blindfold here, folks. It is getting to the point, if people would just watch, we would know what is going on. Biden is not running the country. Other people are, Kamala Harris among them. But the truth in the whole thing is not even a tiny part of what is going on. From 2 Timothy 1:7, "For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." The Lord gives us what we need to survive, folks, even the mind that can decipher the evil that is being done to us right now. But in that, we have to be open up to the ideas that things we usually trust are no longer trustworthy. this last election, if it had been correctly done, Biden would now be a private citizen where he should be. Trump would still be our president because if you look at what happened, Trump won. There is no doubt about that. But right now, our presidency has been sold to the highest bidder, who is probably George Soros, because he wanted Trump out of the White House and his money paid to have it done. Even the Supreme Court now is not seeing things they should be. And until we, the people, realize the wrong done to this nation in the 2020 election, we can never expect to have another fair election again. The bill, H.R. 1, is not what it seems. The Democrats have named it For the People Act of 2021, yet the people have nothing in common with what the bill is actually about. It is about changing the voting protocols of this nation so that the Constitution doesn't matter anymore, and neither do the states. It will all be decided by leftist feds, and if it gets to that point, folks, the only way America will ever be free and fair again is for the people to rise up in rebellion, and that means all of us, and take the tyrannical government down. George Washington told us that is our duty. When are we going to do that to save this great country? Thank you again for continuing to listen to us here at NWCR, which is heard through Conservative Nation Media from behind the silver microphone of freedom with the voice of reason in this increasingly unreasonable world where America always wins. We will continue to be on the air weekdays to give you the truth that the lamestream lying media and the Democrats in Washington will never give you. Thanks for listening, and we will be back tomorrow. Have a great day, and God bless you all.